What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be doing some work. Well, let me backtrack for a second. A few videos ago, probably by now, we were doing some work on my wife's dirt bike, and I had mentioned that we had yet to formally introduce the dirt bikes and stuff that are always in the background of the videos into the channel, which is kind of weird. But I was working on her bike, and I was like, well, wait a minute. I want my bike to be refreshed and all that kind of stuff too. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to work on the 125 a little bit. It's actually a 144, but we're going to do some work on that and get it nice and refreshed and good to go. So let's jump into it. First things first, I need to run and get some gas in this thing because it has 0. Okay, we got 2 gallons of the good shit. Now we got to run the oil into it. So I got my little mix ratio cup here. We're running the classic 32:1, and we're also running the Motul 800 into this. So let's get the oil into the cup and get the oil into the gas and see if this thing fires up. Boom. Now you dump this into your gas. Let it run out there for a second, and then give her some shakes. No, we're overflowing here out my cap. You gotta tighten your overflow, or else it flies out. All right, first thing is I'm gonna go out here in the yard, and I'm gonna lay this thing over and see if any gas runs out. That could be still in the carburetor. I don't think there is. There shouldn't be. I know this thing was run dry last time we rode it, and so let's go lay this thing over and see if we can get some gas out of here. All right, so I laid it over about 4 or 5 times and no gas came out of the hoses and all that stuff, so I think we're pretty dry in there, so I think we should be good to go. First, before I start it and everything, I wanna make sure, I'm gonna take off my seat, check my air filter and make sure it's not like dried up and all that kind of stuff, and so it doesn't like suck it into the intake or whatever. And so first, seat comes off, check the air filter. It's not uber dry, it definitely needs some oil, but we have a new filter going on anyway. I just wanted to make sure before we started it, it wasn't like super dry rotted and everything like that. So we should be good to go to try and fire this thing up. So let's get some gas into it and see what we got. Okay, see, now the gas was on and we were losing gas out of the hoses here on the bottom. So I wonder if my floats are open or something like that. If I turn the gas on again, it drips out. Quite a bit, actually. So, give me a sec here, let me diagnose this. So the dripping has stopped after I kicked it a couple times. It's no longer dripping out, so I'm gonna try to start this thing and see what happens. Okay, well, she has a rough idle, which is understandable. Let me take it where I'm not filling the garage with smoke, and we'll try to start it up and let it run idle for a little bit, and then we'll try to blow it out, perhaps, and go from there. Well, she fired up surprisingly. Sounded pretty good. There were some things I was kind of trying to pay attention to there, but overall, I'm gonna give it a quick wash. We'll get it into the garage, and then we can start taking things off of it and fixing some stuff. All right. Old girl got a bath. Hasn't had one of those in a while. Ugh. All right. First things first. Well, I guess this is like fifth, but anyway, we are going to change the air filter. This thing is very dry, like I said earlier. We have a brand new one going on, and so I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or not. It feels very, very dry, so I'll take it off, I'll clean it and see if it's in good enough shape. I may just throw it out though. It's been on there for quite a while, and it's, like I said, it's very dry. It's not like flaking off or nothing like that, but definitely needs cleaned and some lube. So let me get this out of here and we'll get the new one in. And I apologize for the summertime bugs. They are just singing it tonight. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. I'm sure you can, but they are loud. Whenever I was growing up racing, my dad was my mechanic. He done a majority of the work, but oftentimes I changed the air filter, and this thing was the most frustrating thing. It's so hard to get it lined up. And this thing is like seized to the air filter frame here. Oh yeah, good grief. Yes, sir. Let's get the air box cleaned off from all this grease and stuff I have on there. We'll get the new one on there and I'll put some lube around that. I'll show you in a minute. I use some like Maxima like waterproof grease, and I just rub it around the edges of the filter that sticks up against the air box, because this makes a seal around it. It helps it like stick a little better to the air box, and dirt can't really get past that. So just trying to keep the air box clean, you know. Get some old WD down in there. Get that thing cleaned out. All right, this is the grease I was talking about. Just use some waterproof grease from Maxima. Been using this stuff for I don't know how many years. The filter is already oiled, so I'm not going to spray any other oil onto that. Actually, I may spray a little bit on there just to be safe, but I'm going to take a finger of grease here. I'm going to run it around the edge of the air box. There's a little metal, it's not even a circle, it's the shape of the air filter, and it like butts up against it. And so just run a little bit of grease along the edge of that. I'll do the same thing. I'll lay it on a little bit thicker on the air filter. The filter it's got these little holes here, kind of locks in. So we'll put that, rotate it a little bit, and then doink, doink. And so now, like I said, I'm gonna run a little bit of grease around the edge of this, all the way around, and it will seal up nicely. Big thick glob, just on the edge, just like that. Okay, that should be good on the grease. Let's do what I thought growing up was the most frustrating part. Getting this little screw through the hole, through the air filter, and mount it on. I did spray some of this Fab 1 onto the filter, and now we can mount it on there. You're kind of supposed to do that beforehand, I think, to like massage it into the filter, but it'll be alright. It was pre-oiled. That was just a precautionary spray. Hardly any light whatsoever. You gotta line up like 3 points. Those little holes that the air filter went through, you gotta line those up into a hole, and then you gotta line up that bolt in the middle onto the hole. And there's just a lot of things going on. If I could just figure out. Did I get it? Nope. Oh man, I think that was it. I think it clicked into place. I felt it. Not sure if you heard it, but I heard it. We're threading, baby. Hell yeah. That didn't take too long. Filter is on. She can breathe. All right, now let's take off the exhaust, clean that up, and I got another seal because this old one here, right here where the head pipe and the silencer meet, leaks pretty badly, so I got a new one of those to hopefully remedy that situation, so it's not like dripping down on the swing arm. Or I could, just fix the richness issue, but that's another task. Oops. Let's get the good grief. All of that, see, is dripping out onto the swing arm through this seal that's very, very old, but I should fix this because this is not ideal. But as with the car, I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be, on how to fix the richness issue of this thing, even though I raced them my whole life. Like I said, my dad was the mechanic a majority of the time, and so I didn't pay attention to any of that when I was growing up. Well, some of it. Blech. Look at that. Not sure if you can see it, but that's just oil. Crud. It's so stretched out, like it didn't even have any like tension on that, so No wonder it was leaking out. But anyway, now we can move on to taking off the header pipe on this thing, and that will be a couple bolts, and then I want to fix like the rust on this thing. This is a if you don't know, this is a Pro Circuit like works pipe, and so it's kind of like raw material, and so you got to keep like WD-40 on it and whatnot, but I did not, and so it gets a little bit of surface rust and stuff on it. So just take a little bit of a Scotch-Brite pad, red Scotch-Brite pad, and sand it down, get all the rust off of there, put some WD-40 back on it, and it should be good to go, because it's not like, this is a new pipe, it's not old or anything like that, so I'm not worried about it. On here, I'm gonna leave that one on there for a second, because I gotta pull, there's some springs on the front side here, right there, that I gotta pull. So I wanna have some leverage on that thing before I go doing that. So let's see here. Yeah, now we can get that off of there. Now, come off the head, there we go. Alrighty. A quick spray of some WD-40 on a paper towel, wipe this thing down, and look at it. It looks brand new, which it is. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and begin. We'll get this red Scotch-Brite covered in some WD and start scrubbing. So yeah, just trying to scrub this thing down, trying to go all in the same direction to keep it uniform, you know, but yeah, the rest is coming off pretty easy. Now that is what I call a transformation. Looks much, much better. Now, the thing is, I could wait and let the exhaust do its thing and heat treat it, or you can take a torch and burn these things. Now, I want to do that option. So, let me grab a torch. This right here, I gotta find my little igniter thingy, and then we can try to burn this thing. All I have actually is the blue cans. I don't have like I think it's MAP gas in the yellow one, but I'm gonna try it with the blue and see if it works just fine. I have burnt titanium and whatnot with the blue ones, and so I'm gonna give it a whirl. So let's get it. So this thing hasn't been working for a little while. I thought maybe it was just the tank, so I switched it to a new one that I had here in the garage. It doesn't do anything, so I figured, what the hell, I went to the store real fast, grabbed one of the MAP gas yellow tank ones, and now we're good to go. So the idea, I thought about this on the way to the store, I don't want to do too much to it. I want to let the engine do like most of the heating and stuff like that, I think, but I'm gonna try to burn it and like fade it from here like into the pipe or something like that. I wiped this thing down with alcohol because my grimy little paws got fingerprints on it, and I didn't want to burn that and then my fingerprint be stained onto there. So yeah, let's give this a whirl. Now this is what we're talking about. Look at all this. This is not what I had in mind here, but it still looks pretty cool, so I'm okay with that. But down through here, super nice. I love this on the bracket, how that turned out there. But yeah, pipe's too hot to handle right now, so we're gonna let that cool down for a little bit and then we'll reinstall it. I had to open the door. I didn't realize how smoky it got in here. There we go. Boom, there you are. You on there now. And next is the Huzzah silencer pipe. This is my new washer, or my washer. This is my new little seal I was talking about earlier. Wow, it's so much more flexible. You over this, right into that. Come on now. I know you go farther on there. We're not lined up yet. I need to loosen up these front ones, I think. Allow it to move a little bit. There we go. Yeah, Yahtzee! Now that the exhaust is on, I'm gonna rub down the pipe with WD-40 to help keep that rust stuff from coming back again, which is what I should have been doing a long time ago to even stop the rust, but here we are. So I was thinking about earlier whenever I came back from the gas station and I had said we got the good stuff. That's not really the good stuff, technically. I mean, this bike normally would run on C12 race gas, but I do not see the point of spending $120 for 5 gallon on, you know, just testing it and getting it running again and all that kind of stuff. We can do that later. I run 93 in it sometimes. I need to find a gas station around here in the area that carries non-ethanol gas. Haven't found one of those yet. I would run that in there as opposed to the 93, but you know, it all makes the bike run. 93 is okay for it. But if I'm gonna continue to run the bike and ride the bike here in the near future, I do wanna get my hands on some C12, just so it's running at optimal levels. But I was just thinking, and that was my thoughts. Now that looks damn good. Woo! Yes, sir, look at that shine. Okay, so next on the list, I gotta be honest with you, I can't do right now. I want to change the transmission oil and stuff in the bike, and I want to run it again to get everything kind of warm, I guess. I'm not sure that it affects the transmission all that much, but just the idea of getting it warm and getting all the oil out of there. And it's about midnight right now, so definitely don't want to be firing this thing up like we did earlier to wake up all the neighbors in the neighborhood. So let me jump back in the next day to, holy shit, my airbox is cracked. What? Anywho, let me jump back in the next day whenever we can fire this thing up. All right, it's the next day. Let's get this oil drained. Now look at that. My oil pan fits right in the middle of the stand. Perfect. There's also a hole in the bottom of the stand. There's your drain plug. Let it drain out and good to go. Actually, I think I want to come out from this way so I can get my hand out of the way faster. And there you are. Take the cap off, let it run out a little bit faster. Drain plug has been cleaned. Now that goes back on. It's snug. Now I'm gonna go just a little bit more. There we go. Time to put the oil back in. I've never used this stuff, but I've heard it's the best, so we're gonna try this go around. Attach our little, look at this. Look how convenient that is. And there we go. Oil is complete. Does that look off to you? Looks like this one is lower. Are my bars bent or are my hand guards off? I'm gonna raise that one up a little bit. I'm gonna get new bars anyway. I never was a fan of the micro bars, but I want some Renthols to put on there, so we'll swap those eventually. That is much better, it'll work for now. But whenever I do the bars, I need to adjust my cockpit a little bit anyways, as far as my levers and stuff are concerned. Maybe I'll do a video about that on how I set it up and how I like it. But yeah, for now, that'll do. All right, that's gonna do it for this thing and the maintenance side of things. It definitely needed it and it has been neglected and I feel bad for it. So yeah, like I said before, it definitely feels weird that it took this long to get bikes onto the channel, but we've been building cars for a while. So that's been taking up all my time pretty much. And so yeah, hopefully once that's done, we can get some more bikes onto the channel, get some bikes built, take some videos of some stuff riding, some more setups, things like that, just to have some stuff on the channel. As the beginning of every video says, we modify everything, and I just like things that have motors and go fast. So I think you guys are the same way, so hopefully you enjoyed the content. And yeah, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it very much. As always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you next time. Bye.